What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Get here, back with another Hypixel Skyblock episode, and in today's episode we are going to be covering the Zombie Slayer. I know I did a video on this back a little ways, and so I decided that I should just do another one because that one was before I got Zombie Slayer up, and now that I have it up, I can show you guys what is actually good to get, and also I can do a better assumption of what gear you need to kill each zombie boss or mini boss or whatever it is. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay guys, I'm here with Maddox the Slayer. This is the person that you need to talk to for all of your Slayer needs. There's also the Maddox Bat Phone, I think is what it's called, that you can also do to pull up this same menu. And as I said in the intro, we're doing Revamp Horror, which is Zombie Slayer. And so I'm going to discuss the boss leveling rewards, and then I'll go through what gear that I suggest having for all of these. So, of course, we have the boss leveling rewards. Level 1 is a Wand of Mending. So, I cannot stress this enough. Wand of Mending. I am good in English. Wand of Healing. I cannot stress this enough. Get a Wand of Healing, and when you get a chance, put Ultimate Wise 5 on it. If you're doing an Iron Man profile like me, it is a little bit harder because you have to get the books from dungeons and stuff. But as soon as you can, I advise putting Ultimate Wise 5 on it. Because these Wands of Healing, they help in everything. They help in dungeons, they help against slayers, they help if, like, you're going fishing and you get stabbed by a mob. They literally, these are one of the best sources of healing. I would not say the best source, necessarily, because there's also the Florid Zombie Sword, which gives you instant healing. But this is one of the best sources of healing. And so it's a wand of, it's a wand of healing. It gives 60 hearts per second for 7 seconds, and it costs 60 mana. That's why you want the Ultimate Wise 5, because then it'll only cost 30 mana, I believe. I think it cuts it in half. And of course the cooldown's 1 second, and you don't even need to spam it. Like every 7 seconds, if you're like fighting a boss, or if you're in dungeons and you don't have great gear, every 7 seconds, click it. Other than that, don't click it, because it's just a waste of mana. And you could be using that mana on something better, like a zombie sword or florid zombie sword. But yeah, so Wand of Healing, absolutely best thing, and it's super cheap. It just costs a stick and 16 revamp flesh, which you can get from killing like 4 or 5 tier 1s, I think. I don't know. I think they drop 2 to 3. So I mean, it's like 5 or 6 tier 1s. It's not that many, but it's like absolutely great. The best item. Of course, once it gets upgraded, it's the best, one of the best items, but in my opinion, it is the best healing method. Just because the zombie sword and stuff, while it does give instant healing, there's also a limit to how many times you can use it. So, in my opinion, this is the best healing method. Zombie Slayer level 2, we have a zombie ring, which reduces the damage taken by zombies. I do suggest getting this because it's, again, super cheap, and you can buy the zombie talisman from the villager that's across from the bazaar, I believe, is where you can get this. And it's just an uncommon accessory. It helps you with your magic power, which is really, high magic power is really helpful later in the game. So I do advise getting this. And then, of course, we have Revamp Viscara, which is basically just the upgraded version of Revamp Flesh. It takes 2 stacks of Revamp Flesh and a half a stack of Enchanted String, and that'll be useful in upcoming crafts. Here we have Zombie Slayer level 3. We have an Undead Catalyst, which you can get these from this. Once you hit level 3, you'll get one for free, and then the bosses also drop this. So it says drops rarely. I've gotten like 10 or 15, and I don't know how many Slayers I've done, but I've done quite a few Slayers. So I mean, it's not super uncommon, and I'm pretty sure you only need one, actually. I don't remember what they do, but I don't think it's very important, whatever it is. I think it, yeah, okay, I take that back. I do remember what it does. It's used to upgrade an undead sword to a revamped falchion. Absolute scam, don't even bother with this, and let me tell you why. So, undead sword, it's pretty decent, right? It deals 100% damage to skeletons, zombies, zombie pigmen, and withers. Pretty cool. And you can put smite 6 on it, and that's nice, or sharpness 6, or sharpness 5, whatever. And that's really nice. I love that. But in the undead catalyst, not even that hard to get. But the problem is this crystallized heart. This alone is so expensive because it costs 4 stacks of enchanted diamonds and 4 stacks of enchanted rotten flesh. This crystallized heart is much better. You are going to want one of these because you're going to need it. You're going to need the upgraded version of it because it gets really nice. So you are going to want one of these. But the crystallized heart as itself is something that's already really good for slayers because there are like mender helmets that you can wear in dungeons that double your mending and vitality or give you more mending and vitality, but those only work well in dungeons. So this crystallized heart works outside of dungeons, and it's like the best healing thing outside of dungeons. But if you're in a dungeon, use the Mender crown or whatever Mender helmet you've unlocked, because those are better. I have tested that. At first I didn't think they were, but I figured out that they are. But yeah, this revamped falchion, absolute scam. Don't even bother, because it's not worth it to waste a crystallized heart on it. Unless you're like later game, or you're not on Iron Man, and you can buy a crystallized heart and like for super cheap, and you want to put it in like a museum or something, because that would be the only reason why this is worth it. But it's not worth it. So, and then next we have the Wand of Mending. So the Wand of Mending is, it heals 90 hearts for 7 seconds. Mana cost is 100. That's why you want the Ultimate Wise 5. I will say, if you put Ultimate Wise 5, say on a Wand of Healing, and you upgrade it to a Wand of Mending, it keeps the Ultimate Wise 5. Don't worry about that. I did that recently with mine, because I just upgraded it to a Wand of Restoration, I think, is the next level up from this, and it stayed on. So, to get this Wand of Mending, you'll need 1 Revamped Viscera, and you'll need 12 Enchanted Dark Oak Wood, which, if you have a Tree Capitator, super easy to get. And then, of course, the Revamped Viscera is 2 stacks of Revamped Flesh and half a stack of Enchanted String. Now, I will say, I know that Revant is not how you say it. It's Revenant or something like that. I just say Revant because it's easier to say, and you know what I mean. So, that's why I say it like that. Don't yell at me in the comments, please. And then also, on this level, you unlock the Crystallized Heart. So, I do advise, if you're doing Iron Man, or if you're, like, not willing to buy a Crystallized Heart from the auction for some reason, if you're not on Iron Man, I do advise setting diamond minions to doing this, because that'll be really helpful once you unlock this. And it's not super hard to unlock this, especially if you use the mares to your advantage and stuff. But I will say, I think it was like 12 diamond minions or something like that. All of them set up for like 15 or 20 days straight just to get me 4 stacks of enchanted diamonds. Like, that's how much of a scam diamond minions are. They're so ridiculously slow, but this heart is like is worth so much. So I do 10 out of 10 do suggest Crystallized Heart, especially since once you get it upgraded, it's going to be extremely helpful. Like, even top level players still use it. And then next we have Zombie Slayer level 4, which has the Revamp leggings and boots, which is just more enchanted diamonds and Revamp Viscera. I will be honest, these aren't worth it unless you're going to put them in a museum. They don't help you. They don't help you. So, and then of course you have the travel scroll to the hub crypts, but if So something that I haven't mentioned is if you have a rare travel scroll, I think that you need VIP to use it. But if you have an epic travel scroll, you need MVP plus to use it. So don't like make an epic travel scroll and if you don't have MVP plus and you don't plan on getting it, cuz then that's just a waste of materials. And MVP plus, for those of you who don't know, is a rank on Hypixel. It costs real money unless somebody gifts you it, which is how I got my VIP. I was gifted it not super long time ago, but like a year and a half ago or something. So yeah, it's kind of a scam, but it is what it is. And then next up we have the Zombie Slayer level 5. So here we have the Revamp Minion, which the Revamp Minion, it's cool. It generates rotten flesh and diamonds. So it's cool. But all of the Slayer minions are really expensive because you need like a bunch of the Slayer materials and you need a zombie minion or a spider minion or an enderman minion or a wolf minion or a skeleton minion. Nailed it. So they're all cool. Actually, I don't even think there is a Wolf Slayer minion. Anyways, I'll come to that once I get to the Wolf Slayer collection. But yeah, so it's like, they're cool, but the only minion that's really worth it is a Voidling minion. But the Voidling minions also, like, to get a max one is like 200 million coins or something if you're buying it off of Bazaar, and forget it if you're doing Iron Man. You'll be level 300 before you get a max Voidling minion. I mean, like, seriously. It's not super worth it, but it is what it is. And then we have here a Devour Ring. It's a rare accessory. It's pretty expensive, but not too bad. I do believe I have one myself. Let's see here. Zombie Ring. Or maybe I do not. Yeah, it does not look like I actually do have one, but that is only because it is like more expensive, and I've decided to use the Revamp Viscara on other things, like upgrading my wand. So yeah, that's why I don't have it. But if you have the materials just lying about, or if you can buy it off of the auction because you're not doing Iron Man, then I definitely suggest it because it's just a free accessory and it helps with your magic power that I will talk about in another episode. And then next we have the Revamp Chestplate. Again, a scam, unless you're like going for the like museum armor collection, and especially since for this you need the zombie chestplate, which is like even more rotten flesh, so this one's especially a scam. And I don't remember what the helmet is, but I think it's the crystallized heart is the helmet that's supposed to go with the revamp armor, I believe, but it could be something else. Don't quote me on that. Next we have the voodoo doll. So the voodoo doll is really cool. It basically just, it like spawns like 10 arrows or something. When you are looking at a mob and you right click, it spawns like 10 arrows. And if any of those arrows hit like any mob, then it'll do 4,743.1 damage per second for 10 seconds. And so if you have like a mage set on, it does like a lot of damage. I think mine does like 80k or something with my mage set, which is just Wise dragon armor and the dungeon mage helmet, and then of course a sheep pet. So it's like nice, but recently they disabled it being able to attack wolves. I think with the latest update they might have fixed that, or maybe truly disabled it. I'm not 100% sure what they did because I haven't tested it recently, but it used to be really good against Wolf Slayer, and then they disabled it, so now it's less good unless they've changed it. But it's still something cool to have, and I made one just because I wanted to use it against Wolf Slayer. And it's not super expensive. I mean, you just need enchanted gas tears, which is probably the hardest thing to get. And then, of course, a crystallized heart. I made a crystallized heart, and this is what I put it to. I did kind of get scammed, to be honest, but it is what it is. And then, of course, you need a level 9 pumpkin minion, which is super easy to get with the new garden update, so that's always good. But yeah, the gas tiers will be the biggest pain. If you're on Iron Man, you'll probably have to get a loot share to then get 50 gas tiers and start and like make a gas minion to collect gas tiers for you. But after you get a gas minion, they collect gas tiers so fast. So it's pretty easy to do it, especially if you have a friend who's willing to help you loot share. Now, side note, in order to loot share, the problem with gas loot sharing is that you have to do at least 5% of the damage, I believe. It's either 5 or 1%, but I'm pretty sure it's 5% unless it got changed. And you have to do at least 5% of the damage, and you have to be within 10 blocks of the ghast when it dies in order to get the loot share. So that's just something to keep in mind, that you'll probably have to be teleporting after the ghast and then having your friend kill them for you. So that's just a side note on loot sharing. And then of course we have the small Slayer sack. It's kind of a scam, because like, I mean, yeah, it's cool and whatnot, but I don't see a point. There's no point in it, to be honest. So, because I mean, the way I do it is I do Zombie Slayer until like my inventory is full of revamped flesh, and then I take a break and do something else so that I don't get like bored or whatever. And so yeah, that's how I do it anyways. And so the Slayer sack won't really help that much. And then next up we have Zombie Slayer level 6, which gives you a revamp catalyst, and then you can also start dropping these once you are Zombie Slayer level 6. Of course, we have a Wand of Restoration. This is what I have right now. I have Ultimate Wise 5 on it. The mana cost is 100. It's really nice. Heals 120 hearts per second for 7 seconds. So that's really, really, really good. I cannot stress this enough. Best item in the game, in my opinion. Don't start a war in the comments. I saw what happened last video. Please don't start that again. This is the best item, in my opinion, and everyone's entitled to their own opinions. And then of course it's the Wand of Mending, a stack of enchanted dark oak wood, and 16 revamped Viscera, which is not super expensive to get and not super difficult to get. Next up we have a Revived Heart, which is an upgraded version of the Crystallized Heart and requires a lot of rotten flesh. That's 4 stacks of enchanted rotten flesh per zombie heart. And then you also need the 4 from the initial, so that's 9 times 4, 36 stacks of enchanted rotten flesh needed for this. And then 4 stacks of enchanted diamonds. But you get a Revived Heart, which does the exact same thing. It doubles your mending and vitality while wearing, but it gives you slightly more intelligence, slightly more health, and slightly more defense. So it's cool. I mean, it's cool. That's simply put, it's cool. Really nice item. Do advise investing to get it, but not like rushing to get it, because it's not necessary. It does help, but like the only real thing that it helps with is Enderman Slayer, and you're most likely not going to be able to do Enderman Slayer on your own. But we'll get to that once I get to that Slayer, obviously. And then of course we have a Reaper Falchion. It's a scam, again, because you need a Revived Heart. So it's a scam. Don't even bother with it. It's not worth it. And then we have Zombie Slayer level 7, which is the last level that you get items from. There is still Zombie Slayer level 8 and level 9, which you get Skyblock XP from, but this is the last level that you get items from. And then this also allows you to take on Revenant Slayer level 5. So I haven't actually unlocked this yet, so I haven't been able to take those on, so I won't be able to tell you guys what gear you need, but I can tell you guys for 1 through 4. Anyways, back to this. We have the Zombie Artifact, which I advise getting, just not rushing it. Just get it when you get the materials, because it's a rare accessory, so it's cool. And then a Reaper Mask. So, a Reaper Mask it's cool. Okay, it doubles your mending and vitality, And then the zombie armor triggers on all hits. So basically what that means is this is the this isn't the zombie armor. What am I talking about? This is the zombie armor. And basically it heals the wearer for 10 health per second for 5 seconds when hit by a projectile. But if you're wearing nailed it. If you're wearing a Reaper mask, then it happens every time you get hit. So that's really cool. Another cool thing about this mask is that you're able to store 2 extra Necromancer souls, and then of course summon 2 extra Necromancer souls. And what Necromancer souls are is basically, as you can see here, you have this ability that monsters you killed using this item will drop their soul. You can click on their souls on the ground using this item to absorb them, and then spawn them to fight by your side. This is really helpful if you're going against Enderman Slayer, because if you get like tank zombies or barbarians from the Crimson Island, then they like destroy the Enderman hit shield. So that's why these are useful. And basically it gives you max 3 souls, but if you're wearing a Reaper mask, you can get 5 souls and summon all 5 of them. So that's why Reaper mask and Reaper scythe are really cool together. And of course they work together if you're fighting Enderman Slayer, but if you're doing Enderman Slayer that high where you need to break through the hit shield, you're probably going to be wearing full Final Destination armor, and so you won't need this Reaper mask. And then, of course, we have the Wand of Atonement, which costs 240 mana. It would be 120 if you have Ultimate Wise 5, and it heals for 170, which is 50 more than the Wand of Restoration, which is really nice. It might not seem like a big difference, but it's really nice. Especially if you're using the Reaper mask or the Dungeon Crown or Mender Crown for dungeons, because that also doubles your mending and vitality, or gives you more of it. I don't remember. It's something like that. And so that means that this will be they will have a huge impact, like exponential impact, because it's 50 more. So it's really nice, and once you unlock it, I do advise getting it as soon as you can. Of course, don't like stress about it and beeline straight for this. It's not necessary. A Wand of Restoration is perfectly fine. A Wand of Healing is perfectly fine for like beginner level stuff. So don't rush these, but like once you get to Zombie Slayer 6, I do advise trying to get a Wand of Restoration as quickly as possible. So just don't rush to Zombie Slayer 6. And then of course here we have a Reaper, the full Reaper set, which basically, with the full set bonus, which includes the Reaper mask, you can sneak and you get enraged for 6 seconds, gaining 100 speed, 100 damage, and 100 strength. That's really cool. It just gives you extra damage and stuff, and then of course extra speed, which is always nice. Speed is lovely. I love speed so much. Moving fast is great. Always whenever I switch from Skyblock back to Bed Wars, I'm like, ugh, I'm moving so slowly. What is this? Anyways, and then, so another full set bonus, which this is just these 3 part pieces. So the top full set bonus might also just be these 3 pieces. It might not include the Reaper mask. I'm not 100% sure because I've never unlocked this and I haven't really looked stuff up about it. But full set bonus with this is healing wands heal you extra, you gain defense, and you deal extra damage to zombies, which is the same as the revamped chestplate. Healing wands give you extra and you gain defense against zombies. But of course it's insanely expensive and not really worth it. And so that is Zombie Slayer 7, what that unlocks. So really what you want out of all of this, what you want is the wands and a Reaper mask is basically what you want. And then also Reaper scythe. I didn't show the craft for this, but you need a lot of Reaper falchions. So it's definitely a later game item to get, but there's also a dungeon floor 6 drop called the Summoning Ring, which can hold 2 souls, and I believe the Reaper mask also works with those. So that's probably a better option than trying to get this Reaper Scythe, especially if you're on Iron Man. So that is all of the Zombie Slayer level ups. Now let's talk about the gear really quick, and that'll be it for this video. So, Revamped Horror 1. Its health is 500, damage is 15 per second. You could kill this with like a paper clip. It's super easy. Get yourself like diamond armor, go mining for full diamond armor, maybe an enchantment table, enchant your armor with prop 5, and then just go stab this guy with a sharp diamond sword, or even better, the Undead sword, and enchant that with sharpness 5, or smite 6 is probably better, to be honest. Especially if you're doing only zombies, which is kind of what the Undead sword is for. So literally, easy, this you don't even have to worry about. Now, Revamped Horror 2, you can probably still kill it in your prot diamond armor. You're just going to need a better weapon. I suggest probably a Raider's Axe. Should be able to, it should be good enough. And if the diamond armor isn't good enough, then I advise going to, like, so to be really overkill, you could go to dragon armor, or if you go over to the blacksmith right over here, just bounce my way over here real quick, you can get armor sets from like starter gear armor sets, which are like really cheap to get. And right over here, so you can also get a weapon, you can also go to the weaponsmith, which gives you the undead sword and that stuff, and then you can go to Rosetta here, which gives you starter gear. So of course you have plain old iron armor that has growth on it, so that's cool, you can buy that for super cheap. And then you have Rosetta's armor, which isn't bad. It's better than I mean, it's the same as diamond armor, just with growth 1. It's literally the exact same. And then of course you can go to the Squire armor, which gives you more, and the mercenary armor, which gives you even more, and then a mercenary's axe, which is also probably good enough to kill Zombie Slayer 2. Or you could go the mage set, which isn't really useful against slayers. So let me go back over, actually here, let me just do this. And yeah, Maddox bat phone. So you can just go to the Maddox bat phone, you click on this, and here you are back in the same menu. So that's what you can kill a Revamped Horror 2 with, so pretty simple stuff. Now on to Revamped Horror 3. Health is 400k, damage is 120 per second. This, you're probably going to need strong dragon armor for. Also, I highly suggest by this point, you have a rock. I advise the rock being rare to legendary. In order to kill a Revamped Horror 4, you're gonna probably need it legendary. For a Revamped Horror 3 though, you could probably get away with an epic, possibly even a rare if you watch the healing and stuff. So there you go again, Wand of Healing, really useful. And so yeah, I mean this isn't super difficult to do. You could do it in like any dragon armor, but strong dragon armor is probably the best, with fierce or pure if you need the crit chance. And of course, if you don't have max crit chance, I do advise going for crit chance, because critical hits are just so important in this game. And then of course we have Revamped Horror 4. Health is 1.5 million, damage is 400 per second. Now I was able to kill this in, I think it was pure dragon, or pure strong dragon armor. Could have also possibly been fierce strong dragon armor. But basically, what I did was I spawned the boss, and then I went and sat on my rock. Now, whenever you sit on a legendary rock, you get extra defense, and you also get extra damage. So that's how I was able to live in my strong dragon armor. Of course, if you want to easily kill the boss, you can do that with like a giant sword and shadow assassin. You could like 3-tap the boss, pretty easy stuff. But the weapon, I advise getting a Raider's Axe, which is gotten from the Viking in the Birch Forest, I believe. or even better, an aspect of the dragon or aspect of the end if you can get those items. If you can't get those items, that's also fine. But anyways, that's going to be it for today's episode. I do hope you guys enjoyed this little walkthrough of the revamped Slayer. I know this video is probably a little long, but it definitely was worth it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this lovely episode, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!